Several years down the line, Gary, I remember seeing him in the commissary at Paramount, the old commissary, by himself, and his his wheels are spinning, and he's by himself. And I walked by him just to say hi, and he says, "Oh, Pat," he says, "Gee, perfect. I'm doing a pilot, and I think you'd be wonderful for a certain scene and a part I have in mind." Uh, and of course, we always hear these things from various people at various levels. "Gee, thanks, Gary. Well, you know how to reach me, my agent." Da, 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 da. It was called Wives, and starring in it was his sister Penny. It didn't. We made the pilot. I played the proprietor of a restaurant where the wives come to play pinochle or whatever they do when wives get together in those days, card games and stuff. And it didn't make it. Never heard of it again. However, a few years later, I get a call out of the blue, and it's Gary. And he says, "Pat, we're doing this show called Happy Days, and I wanted to tell you I really want you for this part of Arnold." And, and I don't watch much television to this day because I'm so busy making television, I don't keep up on things. And I get this call from Gary, and he says, "You don't have to read for the part or nothing. You'll just come in, and you're perfect for Arnold," and et cetera, and on and on and on. Well, and Jerry Paris is directing, and I feel like I've come home to some place. So now I go to join the cast of Happy Days, and people ask me, "Well, how many years were you on that show?" And they had what, an 11-year run or something like that. And actually, I joined them the third year of their existence. And people say, "But it seems like you were on it forever." I was on it forever, in and out. But that 1 year was the only solid 26 episodes, or I did 22 out of the 26, something like that. I joined them the first episode of that season. Now, unbeknownst to me at the time, but I would come to find out later, ABC had set down a template of criteria for Gary to answer to, for them to pick up the show for the third year. And the criteria were, number one, get Fonzie into the house. That was easy. They built him an apartment above the garage. 3-camera live audience, tape, 3-camera tape, live audience, and we physically have to see Arnold. Okay, so the first one was easy. They have butt heads and compromise over the second condition, and they did 3-camera film, which Gary preferred, live audience. And now they don't have an Arnold. They still don't have it. Don't worry. They try everybody. They try long, short, wide, brown, black, beam, boom, male, female, dwarfs, elephantine, just every possible kind of person. And nobody's happy with a selection of Arnold. Third episode into the season that they're shooting, I get this call, from Gary, to please, be on the show. We'll send you a first draft. Don't worry, the first draft is never funny, but we'll guarantee it's gonna be funny, and we really want you to do the show. Okay, so I joined them. I'm on the show. I think at the time I first joined them, they were up there in the numbers. They were, I'll say 15, just picking out a number arbitrarily. And they're on the air, and I'm now 5 weeks or 6 weeks into the shooting process, and the numbers are climbing, and they go 7, 5, 3. They're going to bust through the top any week. I believe ABC wanted to see Arnold eventually because here was this place that where the kids of the family and everybody the show congregated. It was always one of the set pieces of every episode, and the joint was called Arnold's from the get-go, but nobody ever saw him. You always saw way in the background through the kitchen thing a body pass through with an apron and a cook, but it was very fuzzed out, ethereal kind of somebody going by, and people in dialogue they would allude to Arnold. You better not do that. Arnold's going to kick your what you call up. What do you want to do that for? You know what Arnold's going to say about that? There would be these allusions to an Arnold. So his existence ultimately had to be physicalized.